All right, good morning, guys. Today we are learning about the quotient of powers property. When you hear the word quotient, you should think division. That's what quotient means, is you're dividing. So the rule, or the quotient of powers property, is when you're dividing powers that have the same base, all you do is subtract their exponents. I'm going to rewrite over here the example because it's hard to read. So if I have 4 to the power of 5 divided by the same base, 4 to the power of 2. So when you see this, you need to automatically think, okay, they have the same base, so that doesn't change, and all I have to do is take their exponents and subtract them. So that's like saying 5 minus 2, top number minus bottom number. And then you simplify. 4 to the power of 5 minus 2 would be 3. All right, so when you see division with powers, as long as they have the same base, then you can subtract the exponents to simplify. So let's look at an example. All right, so here's example 1. Put this in your journals. Letter A. You can see that we have 2 to the power of 6 divided by 2 to the power of 4. They have the same base number, the big number, which is 2. So you can simplify this to be 2 to the power of, and then you subtract 6 minus 4. Once you do the subtraction, you'll simplify and you get 2 to the power of 2. And since all they've asked you to do is simplify, that's it. If you were to solve this, then you would do the actual math, 2 to the power of 2. But all they want you to do is simplify. 2 to the power of 2 is the answer. So let's look at B. We have the same base again. In this case, it's -7. You see it's in parentheses. That's important. They both have to be in parentheses. And so then we can simplify, because it's division, -7 to the power of 9 minus 3. Do the subtraction, and you get 6. So -7 to the power of 6. Make sure you put those parentheses around a negative number. And C. We have h to the power of 7 and h to the power of 6. Again, they have the same base, which is h. So you're going to do h to the power of, and then you subtract top number minus bottom number, so 7 minus 6. Simplify, you get h to the power of 1. Anytime you see something to the power of 1, it's just that base number. So if I had 7 to the power of 1, my answer would be 7. They just have the variable here, so their answer is h. All right, let's do some on your own. Grab a piece of paper. All right, so for the first one, always double check before you go and see. Oh, we're simplifying, so we don't have to solve the answer. And we look at number 1, and it has the same base, which is 9. So then we subtract, this is division, so we subtract the exponent, 7 minus 4. So we get 9 to the power of, what's 7 minus 4? 3. So my answer is 9 to the power of 3. All right, number 2, same base, which is 4.2. That looks like 4 times 2, 4.2. And then the exponents we're dividing, so we actually subtract. So we're going to get 4.2 to the power of 1, which is just 4.2. Okay. Number 3, we have a -8 over -8, same base, good. So we have -8 to the power of 8 minus 4. Okay, so -8, what's 8 minus 4? You should get 4. And the last one, same bases, we have x, and then 8 minus 3, because it's 8 over 3. So you get x to the power of 5. Pretty easy, right? All right, let's do the next example. All right, this is example 2. Put this in your journals. All right, so now we're going to have multi-steps when we're dealing with powers, okay? So you can see here that we have 3 to the power of 4 times 3 to the power of 2, and all of that divided by 3 to the power of 3. Well, we're going to simplify this by doing the multiplication first and then the division. So remember, when you multiply powers, that all of these have the same base, so we know we can work with them. When you multiply powers, the powers actually add. So we're going to have 3 to the power of 4 times 3 to the power of 2 becomes 3 to the power of 4 plus 2. Because when you're multiplying, you actually add the exponents. Okay, well 4 plus 2 is 6. So then you get 3 to the power of 6, and divided by 3 to the power of 3, we just keep copying that until we get to where we can actually function with it. 3 to the power of 6 divided by 3 to the power of 3. Again, we just subtract the exponents because this is division. And then simplify, and you should get 3 to the power of 3, because 6 minus 3 is 3. So we had two parts here. First, we did the multiplication, and remember, when you're multiplying bases with exponents, you add the exponents. When you're dividing bases with exponents, you subtract the exponents. So these are the rules you need to have written in your journal so you remember them for the test, especially. All right, so let's do some more. Okay, so here's example 4. Make sure you're writing this in your journal. Pause me if you need a minute. Again, you see multi-steps here. First, you see that we have all of them have the same base, which is a, so we know we can work with all of these. We have a to the 10 divided by a to the 6, and then that whole thing times a to the 7 divided by a to the 4. So in this case, we're doing division first. The reason we know we're doing division first is because you see the multiplication sign is in between two separate expressions. All right, so let's simplify. When we're doing division with powers, you're subtracting the exponents. So a to the 10 over a to the 6 becomes a 10 minus 6, and then times a to the 7 over a to the 4th is a 7 minus 4, and you simplify those. 10 minus 6 would give you 4. 7 minus 4 would give you 3. So now we have a to the power of 4 times a to the power of 3. Remember, when you're multiplying bases with exponents, you actually add the exponents to get 4 plus 3. You simplify that and you get a to the power of 7. Okay, so just make sure you go in steps, take your time, don't rush. All right, now let's do some on your own. All right, so let's look at number 5 to begin with. Again, we check, we're simplifying, so we don't actually have to solve for the answer. All right, for number 5, all the bases are the same, so we know we can work with it. We have 2 to the power of 15 divided by 2 to the power of 3 times 2 to the power of 5. All right, you can't do the division part until you've simplified the bottom part, so we're going to start with the bottom. So I'm just going to rewrite 2 to the power of 15 and leave it on top. Now when I'm doing multiplication, remember this is addition. So that would mean I would have 2 to the power of 3 plus 5. All right, and then that would equal, top stays the same, haven't done anything there. 3 plus 5 is 2 to the power of 8. So now that I have that, I can do the division. And division means I just subtract the exponent. So I'm going to have 2 to the power of 15 minus 8. Which gives you 2 to the power of 7. All right, let's look at number 6. All right, again, simplifying, we have all the same bases, so that's good. You see we have the giant multiplication symbol in the middle, so we're going to do the division on both of these first and then multiply. Remember, when you have a base by itself, it's actually to the power of 1. So I can say this is d, well, I don't know why I wrote that, d to the power of 5 minus 1, and then multiply that times d to the power of 9 minus 8. Remember, it's top minus the bottom. So I simplify, I get d to the power of 4 times d to the power of 9 minus 8 would be 1. Multiplication, remember multiplication, we just add the exponents. So I get d to the power of 5. Yay. All right, I think we have one more, yes, one more example. All right, for this example, you're doing a word problem. This is example 4. Write this in your journals. So the projected population of Tennessee in 2030 is about 5 times 5.9 to the power of 8. Predict the average number of people per square mile. And you can see here in Tennessee they give you the land area, which is 5.9 9 to the power of 6. Nice, they already put it in exponents for you. So let's think about this. To find the people per square mile, you're going to have to do population divided by land area. Okay, so what do we know the population is? Up here at the top, it told us that it's, in 2030, they estimate it to be about 5 times 5.9 to the power of 8. So you're going to divide that by how much land we have, which is 5.9 to the power of 6. Same bases on the second half. So this 5 at the front, we're not going to do anything with because it's a different base. Well, we'll do something at the end when we solve it because we actually have to solve this problem. But let's deal with the powers first. So since they have the same base, what you have to do first is separate that 5 times out of there because it's 5 times everything no matter what happens. So you can separate it out, 5, and then rewrite to have 5.9 to the power of 8 over 5.9 to the power of 6. This all means the same thing. So then, now that you have your powers this way, it's division, so you subtract the exponents to get 5.9 to the power of 2. Now, this problem you actually have to solve because it's a real-life problem. So you're going to take 5.9 to the power of 2 and then multiply that number times 5 to get 174.05. This means there's about 174 people per square mile in Tennessee, supposedly in 2030. I wonder what it actually is right now. I don't really care. All right. Okay, so when you have a multiplication in there, you can separate it out because if you're going to multiply it to begin with, then you can multiply it at the end. It's fine. All right, I think we have, one more on your own. All right, for on your own number 7, we're doing the exact same thing we just did on the last example, so maybe keep your journals open. This one's talking about Alabama. The projected population of Alabama in 2020 is about 2.25 times 2 to the 21st power. Okay, so you know you're going to need that number. The land area of Alabama, Alabama is about 2 to the power of 17th square kilometers. Predict the average number of people per square kilometer. Okay, so we're doing the same thing. People per square mile equals the population divided by the land area. So we know what the approximate population, 2.25 times 2 to the power of 21. Okay, and then we're dividing that by 2 to the power of 17. Again, you see that these two bases are the same, so we can deal with those. This base is completely different. So we're just going to rewrite that, separating that out. 2.25, and then that's times 2 to the power of 21 over 2 to the power of 17. Because we can simplify that part. So we get the first part we don't change. 2 to the power of 21 divided by 2 to the power of 17. You just subtract the exponents. So times 2 to the power of 21 minus 17 would be 4. So now we're going to do 2 to the power of 4 and then multiply that times 2.25 and you should get 36. And this is 36 people per kilometer squared. So in Alabama in 2020, theoretically, there will be 36 people per square kilometer. All right, so that's your example, and you're on your owns. So now you have completed the on your own numbers 1 through 7. So you're going to do the practice and problem solving 3 through 21, and then 23 through 28. All right, holler if you need any help.